All right. Hey, everybody. You back. So that means that we are here for some more pillow talk. Now, today I got on some cute little pajamas because I know that you guys will be seeing this a little late, but it is the day after Christmas. So I have a great holiday treat for everybody today. This is episode 2. And like I said, and I'm going to say every time we open Pillow Talk is some of the most rawest, intimate, honest conversations that you can have, right? And so the whole purpose of me doing this is so I can have some honest, raw conversation with people who I find are very interesting or people that I want to know much about. So without further ado, let's kick it off to my second guest. She is a badass. First of all, she's a mother. She's a personal fitness trainer. She's a fitness model, personal nutritionist, all of those type things. Y'all give it up for Miss Jessica. Woo! All right.
Hello.
Now I want you to introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, well, to ping off a little bit of what you said, yes, I'm a personal trainer. I get about my business. I have the type of personality, you either love me or you hate me. I'm going to keep it real 100%. I'm a mother of 3. And I just been on my fitness journey and, lifing, because life is lifing. So I've been lifing for a minute now, and I'm just in the midst of, change and, and growing. I'm 40. So this is the time where it's that hump.
40 where, honey? First of all, 40 where? Right. So before we get to where you are now, like I said, everybody and all of my future guests, we want to know where you're from, right? Like what happened before you got to now. So I'm a backtrack all the way up. Now, I know you probably don't remember because now we are acquaintances, right? But you probably don't remember. I remember the first time I met you and I was like, damn, like the aura, the energy that you had, I was like, oh, she don't play. Like, and so I remember that was my first encounter, like my perception. But then when I continued to get to meet you, I was like, oh, that's a shell, kind of like that's a wall. Okay. That's deflection of like, I feel like somebody has crossed her and betrayed her. So that's what she has to put out there to project, just to let you know, what can happen if you don't. But she's really a sweet, like loyal person who's always going to have your back. So you are my sister's, one of my sister's closest friends, right? And then so we met, of course, and cross paths, but I did not know your story. All I knew was that my nephew was friends with your son, and then you became friends with my sister, but I didn't know your story. Of course, we had small talk here and there, but I don't know like the substance. You know how you eat something so good and you like, what's in this? You can eat stuff and you like, okay, that was good. But when you eat something, you like, how did you make this? That's what I got when I met you. So of course, let's kick it off. Where are you from? Because I know you're not from here.
so I'm not from here. Right. But I was born in Alabama. But I was raised in California. So I'm a Cali girl all my life. And the vibe is just different. When I came down here, I actually got a culture shock. Because here down in California, you have so many different people, different, backgrounds. You don't just have one race hanging with one race. Down here, it's you're clicked up. And so when you go in the hood, it's the actual hood. Like you're not seeing all the race. You're gonna either see one race and that's gonna be their hood. But in California, it wasn't like that. So coming down here, trying to readjust, learning the culture. Like I said, I have a you either love me or hate me personality because I'm about my business and I've always been that way. And so either people, stray from me because they think, oh, she got an attitude, but not realizing that it's not so much as a shell, but I consider myself a dragon. And one thing about it is dragons, they tend to hibernate, they tend to chill. But if you keep on poking at a dragon long enough, what they gonna do? You know what I mean? And
get that fire out.
Right. But when you're poking at a dragon, you also wounding them at the same time. So not only is their skin, bleeding, but it has to heal. So their skin becomes rough and hard due to the scab that was put on it. So a lot of people think you think you're hard, or you think it's this. No, somebody hurt me, and my body then in return put a shield to protect me. And I'm sorry that my body wants to protect me and my mind wants to protect me, but at the same time, people keep on inflicting. I have too many scars to count, but they're just things that I went through. So that's what makes me strong. And like you said, I do love, and when I love hard. So I pick and choose who I let in my circle. And and the energy and people can say all they want to, believe that I'm crazy, but when I first met you, your energy was on point. I told Chasky, I said, look, your sister, she on point. Because one thing about it is I look at people, if you have anxiety or if you feeling, you like you got a meter and you like, I'm ready to go, then I'm like, I can chill with those type of people, because not only are you aware, but you know yourself. It's time, and once you learn yourself, then it's downhill from there.
Right. Now, growing up in California, were you with mom and dad? Were you with single parent home? What kind of home were you raised in?
Man, so everybody has their background. Everybody has their story.
Right.
So my first wounds, unfortunately did happen. My dad is a drug addict. My mom was alcoholic, and she died from alcoholism. When my mom passed away, she was only 73 pounds, and a lot of people think that, oh, you can quit or you can do that. It's a disease, some people get pushed to that. I feel like this world is so grimy, and we sit here and we have to live to be slaving. And that's what everybody work day in, work day out, just to do this. You're saying, let's do this so before my kids get back. It's like we always on the go, 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 go. And we're still trying to tell our story for the next person. Yeah. But so those things happened to me. My mom, drug addict, alcoholic, my dad, a drug addict. But if those things didn't happen to me in my life, I wouldn't be the person I am. I wouldn't.
Growing up, since you noticed that now, what age were you when you noticed like something is not? Because drug addict is a very specific, term. But I know 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old. When did you become aware? Okay, this may not be normal, or this something is off with dad, or something off with mom. What age do you remember becoming aware?
My first memory was when I was 2. Okay. My second memory was when I was 4, and then my third memory, like complete memory of knowing what's going down, was at 6. 4 years old, I realized that my mom is an alcoholic, but not so much my dad. I didn't, know that he was a drug addict. Age 6, around that time frame, my dad came to the doors, face busted open. Somebody tried to kill him over money, over drugs, and I'm the one who opened the door. So that, it's like, dang, I'm seeing my dad at the age of 6, he almost dead. Like, what in the world? And so those are the things that I realized there's something right. When I became myself, when I knew that I was different, when I knew I had a drive in me, and something in me, was at the age of 6, when I had to walk in the rain to school, by myself, no jacket, no nothing. And I have family, so don't get me wrong. Like, you have family members, you have aunts, you have uncles, and my family is close. But when you have, a parent that wants to shield you from what everybody, their business, then it comes to a lot of people don't know exactly what's going on inside. I'm not trying to bash my parents by no means, because I'm not even a perfect parent. So we go through stuff, but this is part of my life, and it's something.
Yeah, it is your truth. So that I'm asking you your perspective. So anybody who's they're like, wait, that didn't happen. That's their truth. This is your truth. Oh yeah. And I hear it from you. So were there any siblings in the home?
Oh yeah. And my brother, he's 2 years younger than me, and then I have a brother that's 10 years younger than me, that pretty much I interacted with a lot, because he was so much younger than me, that I helped, with changing Pampers, diapers, him being with me.
I was gonna ask you that. So you're the oldest.
Yeah.
So and I always ask all my patients that come to see me, because I'm the baby, and so I just love to hear it. because I don't know that. I don't know how it feels to have that responsibility. Having the responsibility of the oldest, how is that growing up? Because even if it's not a spoken responsibility, you should have known. Sometimes it's the energy that your parents gives you. Why didn't you do that? You're the oldest. You should have known. Even if it wasn't verbally told to you, you should still have known. So how did that feel growing up, having that responsibility?
Honestly, it was just something in me. I don't feel like, you know, I was just drawn to it. I'm not going to sit and not do something that for somebody that I care about. You know, if I'm able to do it, I'm going to do it. But it was overwhelming, I guess. You know, I didn't know how to feel because I was so young. You know, you don't really realize those trauma things until you actually get older and go to counseling. And, you know, and yes, people need to go to counseling, see a therapist. You know, I don't care what nationality you are, we all need it, you know, and I didn't realize those things until I actually, you know, went to get help. And, you know, and it wasn't even about my parents as to why I got help. I fell in love for the first time, got my heart tore up.
And we're gonna get to all of that.
So it's just like, you know, I went to counseling and realized that, you know, I'm not a mean person. I'm not mad all the time. You know, people put these stigmas on you, like, why are you upset? I'm not upset. And then you fight me with trying to get them to feel like, no, I'm not upset. Just because I set boundaries don't mean that I'm not upset. I mean that I'm upset. It just means that I set a boundary that made you frazzled. That's what that means. So throughout my childhood, I realized at the age of 6 that I'm just different. I'm straightforward, and I'll do for you what I feel like you should do for me. You know, and I'll give people chance after chance after chance. That's one thing. People say, oh, you're so hard, you think you all that. Then why do I let people get chance after chance after chance? I'm not as hard as y'all think I am. Like, I am a loving person, but I can, you know, just because I got a skill, then that's what it is. Yeah.
So taking care of your brothers, did that put you out? Because I see this a lot. You just let me know your perspective, but did that put you out of the sibling role and into a caretaker role? Because what I see a lot of times is people who are immersed in being in this caretaker role. Now, they don't have that. Of course, you know, they love their siblings, right? They are bonded, but it's a different type of bond because I'm almost like finding myself like correcting you, even in our adulthood, or I'm looking out for you in a way as your mom should look out for you or your dad should look out for you. So yeah, we're connected, but it's not like a sibling connection. I still feel like a caregiver almost, you know, like making sure, doing what a parent, you know, and they still in a parental role. How was that for you?
Actually, no. You know, I don't see that at all. Me and my brothers, we really do have good, close relationships. And because my youngest brother, he understands, like, he tells me, like, you helped raise me. So he understands that. So it's not like I'm superior over him or, you know, anything like that. It's a mentality. And because I help my brother, he has the same mentality I do. So I can go to him for advice and vice versa. And that keeps it at the sibling level. And if he needs me, you know, to be dominant, like, no, you're not going to do that because this and this, then I go into that role. But at the same time, I step back and then go to sister. And I'm like, I'm only saying this because I've been through it. So no, I don't feel like I'm his mom. I do feel like I've had some mommy roles, but I can never take the place of my mom, and I can never fill that role because he's still my brother and that's still his mom. So yeah, I hats down, I always give the mom that title because nobody can ever have that title. And feeling like that, no, I felt like a sibling helping their brother. So yeah.
Did you wish that you had a sister?
I do. I have a half sister.
Okay. Is that on mom's or dad's side?
That's my dad. So my dad
had house growing up?
She came to stay with us. And she had disrespected her mom, and she's German and Black. So she disrespected her mom by punching her mom in the face. She came to stay with us. I think I was 14. And she's a few years younger than me, like 4 or 5 years. And so when she disrespected my mom, she was getting drunk and all this other stuff in her life, you know. She disrespected my mom. She wasn't coming back to the house, sister or not. You disrespect my mom, that's it. I mean, unfortunately, she got hands put on her.
Yeah. But that's what happens sometimes. How was your high school experience?
My what experience?
Your high school. Like, how was it for you in high school? And were you still in California at this time in high school?
Mm-hmm. My high school years was really good. I athletic, popular. Everybody knows me. It's not like, you know, they call me J Hood, Jess, Mike Tyson, Speedy Gonzalez.
What kind of sports did you play?
Basketball, track, volleyball, kickboxing, wrestling.
I can see all of that.
Yeah, I did all that.
Did you have a boyfriend in high school? Like, did you have anybody that you would say that you took seriously enough to even think about right now?
Mm-hmm. I did. I had a boyfriend. You said think about right now?
I'm saying like that, or because you know how you may have something and you like, oh no, I ain't have nobody serious. But did you have somebody that back then was serious enough to you?
I mean, you know, now that you've grown, you know, it's kind of like no, but
yeah.
I thought I was, you know, a little puppy love with this guy Tony Curtis, you know, and he, you know, we broke up. Somebody claimed that I was cheating on him, which I'm not a cheater, so it was whatever. But we broke up, girl. I felt like my little heart was just so hurt.
That's how it is. Was that the first boy? Would you say that was like your first love type thing, or?
I wouldn't even say I loved him. Like, I just liked him. So I was such a tomboy that I didn't even give guys the time of day. So when one intrigued me, it's like, oh, I like you. Wow, I like you, me. So it's like, okay. So I think that's the first feeling that I had about like really like liking a guy and kind of being like letting him touch me, you know, in a like this, because I don't like you touching me. I don't want you kissing me, none of that. So I think that kind of opened the door to me even remember who he was. But yeah.
What grade was this? Like, was this your senior year? Was it way before that?
10th grade. So I did 2 years at a rival school. And then I went to so Monterey was Seaside High's rival school. So I was at Monterey for 2 years, knew everybody there, got bored with that group, and then went with my other group for 2 years. So yeah.
So in high school, where was mom and dad as far as how deep were they in their addiction when you were in high school?
Oh, full blown. You know,
so what did home life look like when you're done? Because you in all this extracurricular, right? Then when you go home, what does home look like? Is it chaotic? Is it stable? Is it structured? Like, what is it?
I mean, there was no structure. I was the type of kid. I didn't have a curfew. I didn't have to come. Like my mom wasn't monitoring me like that. You know, she'll be like, "Where were you at?" But nothing to where I can be like, oh, I got to get home. I got to do this. But at the same time, I also wasn't a bad kid either. I wasn't mischievous. And I'm not saying that people that don't is bad, but I'm just saying I was home on time. I didn't have no curfew. So I was there every night doing what I was supposed to do. And in doing that, I was always left with the question, why me? Like, why me? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Why me? You know, why is all of this putting on my lap? Why is this all happening? You know.
And when you say all of this, were you just strictly talking about your parents, or were you talking about something else?
Just my lifestyle, you know, the way we were brought up, you know, watching other kids have Christmas. And, you know, even though we had Christmas, it wasn't like just a few, like one gift here, 2 gifts here, you know, and then we're kids, so it's like everybody gets a new outfits for school, everybody gets this, and again, this you know, it's just like when you're looking at that and you're so young, you do feel like you're missing out. Then as you get older, you realize that material things don't matter. So you know, it's a good and a bad thing. You know, felt like I was going through trauma, but as I get older, that stuff really don't matter. You can't take it with you. So
yeah, and that is true, you know, but you don't want to minimize what you go through, and I always tell people things that you remember for a reason. Like it resonated in you so much because there's so many things we forget, but it can be one thing and you're like, I remember that hurt my feelings when I was 4 and they did, so at that time when you felt like, why me? What did you do to cope like with that feeling?
At that time I was too young to even understand how to cope. So when I cope,
did you notice anything? Because there are even negative ways to cope, right?
Yeah, it came off as me being angry, and that's the thing. Like I'd be like, I'm not angry, but because I was, in my own head trying to figure out stuff as a child, it's just like, what do I do? Because it was to the point where I didn't even know how to read. I didn't know how to read. I knew how to write. I just didn't know how to read. I remember there's times where I'm playing with books and being like the catfish dog, and trying to act like I'm looking at the pictures and making up my own story. I never got a foundation. I was cheated out of that. So if anything that I regret in my childhood is my foundation, because I feel like that's something 100% that your parents supposed to do. And I was cheated out of that. I was set back before I even started. So when people say, oh, you have this, you have that, that's because I started way back on another race and still winning this shit. So when you want to judge somebody, there's a lot that goes with my race to where I'm at now. So yeah, I don't regret it.
I did notice that you said, because when I listen, I'm taught to not like have emotions. So I be hoping, people don't see my video like she ain't giving up, but I'm literally trying to just, way back in like when I worked in the Department of Social Services and a child would tell me horrific stories of rape and all that. I was trained to, so that helps me take away and actually authentically listen to what you're saying. But I do remember when you said we had family around, but so, I mean, you recalled an experience at 4 and 6, but now we're in high school. Is no family seeing, the addiction in the home? Is no family seeing, poverty? Sounds like a little bit of poverty or financial struggle. Is there any extended family?
Like I said, our family, like my mom's sisters and brothers, like we were all raised around each other, our cousins and stuff. But when you have someone that has an addiction and you're her kids, nobody has house rights to you, and yes, everybody knew that my mom had an addiction. Now the inside stuff that goes on in your home, they don't know that, and your child is not going to say that because they're taught not to, and then on top of that, it's like they can do stuff, but it wasn't to the point where I'm being, like you said, don't try to downplay your trauma, but I feel like my parents, they made mistakes. They're only human, and I can't sit here and keep on like, oh, this happened to me, because like I said, everybody goes through something, I just got to move forward from it. So yeah, my family was there, and I love my aunts, and I have a favorite aunt I talk to all the time, but I would never even try to put them in a situation where they have to either check my mom or some stuff or something like make something uncomfortable. I kept the business to our business.
Mm-hmm. Did that make you feel a way too?
Not really. I don't think I even keyed on if I did feel a way. I didn't know. I was ignorant to even if I did feel some type of way about it. Yeah, because I shut off my feelings.
So. Why do you think that was easier for you to disconnect emotionally?
Because I love hard. So if I disconnect, then I feel like you can't hurt me. And the thing about it is, when somebody loves hard, they give everything. A lot of people say, oh, well, I love hard or I'm loyal. No, when you really run into a person that's loyal, man, they get hurt every day by everybody because they give to everyone, and you just expect that back, but you don't get that in return. you know, and I'm actually going through it right now with that, you know. So it just, you know, you just gotta fight for what you want.
So as a senior going through what you're going through, did you have a plan after high school? What were your thoughts like? And to be honest, I remember being a senior, and I remember like all the white girls knowing, and I was like, shit, because you know I felt behind,
right?
But I didn't feel like I was prepared. It's almost like you're about to go on a trip tomorrow and you haven't packed, you don't have, and so I was starting to frantic. How was that for you? You a senior and you're about to leave. I don't know how was it in Cali, because in the South, where you going? You know,
right?
Trying to get out of the nest. What are you doing?
Man.
Which is another added pressure.
So I didn't even think about it. Like I said, I'm so into life, like having to eat, work, that I didn't even think about my future. What I thought, because I was so ignorant to everything, and it's like, I have to have good grades to go to college. I don't, you know, I have to have a scholarship. I have to have, you know, oh, they want to give me a scholarship for track. Okay, well, I can't go because I don't have good grades. I was ignorant to everything. You know, there's people trying to give me money for school, and I didn't have good grades like that, but I was a good athlete. And so it's like, you're a good athlete, we can do this, but because I wasn't knowing about it, or I was ignorant to it, and if we ping back, remember I told you I was still struggling to read,
even in high school.
Even in high school. So you know, you don't, you know, and this is a lot of things that people don't talk about because they're embarrassed by it. But at the same, it wasn't something that I did to myself. It was something that was done to me. So I'm not embarrassed by that. You know, I'm no dumb female. I'm telling you that no, I did not know how to read in high school. Not at no high school level. I was probably, to be honest with you, about 5th grade, maybe 4th grade reading level. You know what I mean? And that is the system that failed me, because there is no way that I should have gotten where I was with my reading level. No way. And then you turn around and, you know, you try to figure out a way to learn, not realizing that just 3 years ago I found I was dyslexic. The doctor tells me you are extremely dyslexic. And I'm like, this would have been, back in the day, it would have been a whole bunch of answers to all of my issues instead of putting me in these little slow classes.
I was about to say, what did you think about yourself at that time? Because I know I've heard this a lot when people are diagnosed as adults with ADHD, and they're like, oh, I thought something was wrong with me, or I thought blah, blah. So what were your thoughts about yourself? Because I noticed you were like, listen, I can't read, but I'm gonna, you know, pretend. What were you thinking internally?
That I'm smart, that I want to do this and nobody's showing me how. I don't know the how, but I want to learn it. I remember going to my parents and be like, can you show me how to read this? What's this word? Oh, girl, come on. And then I'll go and sit back there and just and flip the book and look at the pages and look at the pictures and come up with my own story. So at that time, you know, I didn't know. I just was trying to do what it is I felt inside. Like, I know I'm supposed to know how to read, but I don't know how to read. I don't even know where to start. At a kid, you don't, you know, and then when they're doing the vowels and stuff in school, I'm confused on that.
Right.
Because there's no foundation. What is A-E-I-O-U? And sometimes why? Okay, well, now I'm confused on what the class is talking about, period.
Right.
So had I known that I was dyslexic and had my parents, you know, took a little more time and said, you know, because if I would have got my foundation, they would have caught it. You know, if you teach me my ABCs, you would have caught that I'm writing a certain way. So
I'm sorry, y'all. I keep moving my camera. It's just, it looks weird on my end. I'm sorry. So now that you're about to graduate, what are you doing? Are you going to work now at this point? Because you haven't accepted any of the offers, right? As far as sports.
No, because again, I'm confused on it. I don't even, you know, no, oh, you can have a grant here or this. I was, yeah. So at this point, you know, I'm actually broken up with the guy that I told you about earlier. And then my ex-husband now, he actually came into a pizza place and, you know, tried to holler at me, and I gave him my number, got over.
Were you working at the pizza place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you have that job in high school?
I did.
Okay.
So I met him while I was still in high school.
You just, okay. I was about to say, so when you graduated, you just kept working there?
Yeah, I worked there for a few years. But so I met him around when I was 17, got pregnant, and then had my daughter when I was 18 and graduated. So I was pregnant when I had her, but I was still playing sports. I was still playing basketball at 7 months pregnant. I even got a picture. So it was like my life never stopped. So when I did have her, or when people did see that I was pregnant, they're like, wait, wait a minute. She was just on basketball.
I was like, wait a minute, we got to back up. So you met him at what grade were you in? Were you in 11th grade when you met?
It was my 12th. You know, when you go into senior year for your, for the summertime of your 11th grade year.
Yeah, before your senior. Okay. So you met him while you were at work at the pizza place, right? Okay, give him your number. What about him? Was it just physical, or what about him that made you, because you're such an empath and you do feel the energy of people, even probably back then you probably didn't know what it was, but you was like, I can tell. Yeah. What about made you say, okay, well, let me just give him a chance?
Well, because one of the guys, Chris, that I know, came in with him. Oh, and so okay. I didn't know him at the time, you know, because my ex-husband at the time, he was like 20. You know, he's older than me. So he was 20 years old in the military. So when he came in, it wasn't like I was off some wow stuff, because he's a short man. I don't like short men. Let's just put that out there. And I actually married one. Okay. I don't date short men. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm not crazy. Girl, I don't. Connecting the I and I, girl, what? Oh, it's too much. Stand each other. Man up. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, no. But anyway,
so do you feel like the guy that you knew is what kind of convinced? Because you was like, okay, because the guy that you knew, was he good people, like, to you? And you was like, okay, well, since he came in here with him, then he must be a good, you know.
But then, so to make you, I went from 6'7" to 5'3".
Yeah. In terms of, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, girl. So Chris came in, and then, you know, my ex came in, and he was like, hey, can I get the number? And I was like, the number to the pizza place or the number to my house? And he was like, the number to your house. I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, oh, okay. So when he called me, like maybe 2 days later, he was like, hey, may I speak to Jessica? I was like, this is she. He was like, you know who this is? I was like, yes, Terrence. He was like, how do you know? Because I don't give people my number. And for that reason alone, I don't give a lot of people my number. So it wasn't that I was intrigued by him or anything, or that I wanted to be with anybody. It was just like here you go. But then when he called, and he was very persistent.
Yeah.
Because again, I was nonchalant. Like, he would come up to my school. I would walk home and see him like parked in the driveway. And I'd be like, I'm not getting in that car with him. And I'll just drive. My friends be like, be so nice to him. Please be nice. And I'm like, whatever. Then you wind up being nice, a little too nice, and wind up getting pregnant. And that's what happened.
So do you remember the conversation that you had with your parents? Because I mean, you're still in high school. So how were you scared? Were you nervous? Yeah, I was about to say, because they were still in their addiction, right?
Yeah.
Around that time. So what was that conversation like with your parents?
Well, it really wasn't a conversation. You know, I just told my mom that I'm having a baby. I mean, once after I had a conversation with their dad, you know, when I told him I was pregnant, he was like, okay. Like, I wanted to know more like, should I keep her or keep the baby? Like, I was still young, so I was just like, I don't know if he's gonna be mad at me for saying this, telling him. But he was cool, and I mean, there was nothing said about having an abortion or anything, so it was never mentioned. And he was like, okay, well. And then the next day he was like, well, let's go look at some stuff for the baby or some baby stuff. And I knew that it's not in his mind to.
He said that the next day.
Mm-hmm. So he was like, let's go like look at some stuff for the baby, or, I guess that was just his way of saying, I'm cool with you having a baby.
With it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you didn't get trapped, did you? No, I'm just
nah. Girl, if I did, I got trapped with me. Okay. Nah, but no. But then, it just happened. And then he's in the military. He left off to go to Virginia. I graduated. He wanted me to move up there. So I never really thought about a process of what I'm going to do. But so I just knew that I have something inside of me that I'm going to love to the end of the world. And I mean, yeah. Everything else
is now, though, when we backed it up a little bit, now it all makes sense as far as like where your mind was, where your perspective was, because at this point you're not even just thinking about yourself, you got a whole nother life that you're thinking about. So when you do graduate and he does ask you to move, do you move with him?
I did move. Once I moved, I realized that he was cheating on me with a girl in the military, and
how did you find out?
Man, this dude, I found out because we had got into it. He was cheating with some little girl at the bank. I wind up finding out about her. Janaya. I wind up finding about her, and then I was working at, I think, IHOP at the time, and he wind up pulling up, and I wind up finding that he cheated on me with a girl that worked at IHOP because she seen his license plate, girl.
Oh, did it bother you though when you were 17 and he was 20? Because usually, like they say, the dudes who try to talk to the young girls, I mean, that wasn't a big age gap, but it still was an age gap, and you were still in high school. So was that a question in your mind, like, why is he trying to talk to me and I'm in high school?
No, because I wouldn't even talk to nobody in high school. After I broke up with my ex, like, I didn't talk to nobody in high school. I didn't want to date nobody. Like, I actually looked at older guys, like, so, but even still, I don't even feel like it's the age thing for me. It's just your vibe. It's your person. It's the person. So I don't even really go off of age. Like, I go off that person. Now, if you just tremendously younger than me, it's a no-go. But, and if you... So
when you're finding out that he's talking to all these girls, how old is your daughter at this time?
Yeah, she wasn't...
Let me tell
you. Girl, she wasn't even 2 weeks. When I tell you,
so he asked you to move to Virginia. Was this where he was based? Or
yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And he already cheating before you get there?
Oh, yeah.
And then when you get there, he's still cheating?
Still cheating.
When you have a baby, he's still cheating?
Still cheating.
Okay.
So, and that's the thing.
This is before you guys are married?
Before.
Okay.
We get no, when I moved down there, a couple of months, I'm living there a couple of months. Right. Found out that he cheated on me, whatever. But that wasn't the first time I found out he was cheating on me. And then, but because I was not, I know a lot of people be like, well, why didn't you leave? I wasn't in love with him.
Oh, okay. Was that, I mean, okay. Let me see how I can word this. If you say you wasn't in love with him, why do you feel, was it attachment then? Because I mean, he is getting you out of a environment. Or what do you think that it was?
I think it's just, I was just going with the flow. I didn't have no plan. I didn't really care. I just knew that I had my daughter. So it's like, whatever path that I go down with her, she's just going to have all of me. It doesn't matter what I do. But as far as like being with him because I was in love with him, I wasn't. We got pregnant and it just happened. We can work it out or, stay together. But as far as being head over heels and this and that and the other, it was just something. I remember my grandmother telling me, well, if y'all want to play house, you might as well get married. And I'm a strong believer that, you know, a lot of older people know what they're talking about. My grandmother, the only man she's ever been with was my grandfather. You know, that's the only man, you know. So I'm taking heed to her message. But at the same time, there was a lot more that should have been said. Like, I'm not in love with your grandma. I'm not, you know, instead of just, but that's what it was. So no, I wasn't in love with them, and I wasn't even mad about the cheating.
I was just about to ask you that. Yeah, but I remember you saying when you were younger, you know, detaching yourself from that emotional component, or just being like, you know, I'm gonna remove myself from even that having that emotional energy right now. Do you feel like that played a part as you're getting older, or do you feel like it was just him?
I feel like it was just him. That's just his personality. Is that what you're saying? Or how did he make me feel?
I'm saying, do you feel like because you disconnected emotionally to kind of protect yourself, do you feel like it affected the way that you were able to connect emotionally with other people and with him specifically? Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is,
because if you're not allowing yourself to feel, how are you gonna fall in love?
Right. Well, I mean, the thing about it is with me, I allow myself to feel to an extent. Once you irritate me on that, I can't open up to you type feel, then it's out the window. Like, I'm not going to fall in love with you because you're not, like, I have to have somebody that's not tending to me or anything like that, but is aware, like extremely aware, like, oh, you, like, I'm an on time type of person. You know what I mean? So you doing too much by telling me you 30 minutes loud. I'm 5 minutes away, but you 30. That type of stuff triggers me. Like, don't people have to, you know, communicate with me? I'm a communicator, and a lot of people, they get uncomfortable when you communicate, because now it's like I'm uncomfortable with somebody telling me their thoughts, and then I have to respond. A lot of people don't know how to do that, so they use it as, oh, you're angry. No, I'm communicating with you.
Right.
You know, so, you know, yeah. That.
So when did he? I know you talked about what your grandmother said, but did he propose to you? Did y'all sit down and have a conversation like we need to get married? Like what was that?
And so I found out that he was cheating on me.
I'm so sick of this. Oh, man.
So I found out that he was cheating on me, right? And I really wasn't even upset. I was just like, I'm over it. Like, then he came downstairs with this ring and this video camera. Well, he had the video camera, and I was like, what are you doing? And I'm sitting on the couch with my blanket, you know, and he's like, get on his knee. Will you marry me? And I was like,
after he cheated?
Yes. After he cheated. So
what kind of cheating was it, to clarify for the people? Was it emotional cheating? Was it physical? Sexual?
Well, I mean, physical, I guess emotional but I mean, physical cheating with the other females. Yeah.
Right. So emotional is just talking, texting.
Oh yeah, he was doing all that. Oh, the whole thing. I mean, going to hotel rooms.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go in the most, you know. Okay. Even all the way up until the time we got divorced. So, but
what were you thinking in that moment though, when he's doing his spiel of trying to, you know, propose to you in the midst of him?
I told him to record it. I told him to press record and pretty much like tell me why it is you want me to marry you. And I made him beg me on camera. My dad still has the clip, or what is it called, the VH tape. Yeah.
Why did you have to do that?
Why did he have to do that? Because he made me, I wanted him to know that I wanted other people to see it. I wanted other people to see that you play these games, and then you try to make it seem like you're not doing what you're doing. And you begging me and telling me that you apologize for cheating on me and this and that and the other, and you telling me you want to marry me lets me know, you need to tell me. It's not that I'm marrying you, or that I want you, and you did something to me, and you have all your family and everybody else believing I'm a mean person, I do you wrong and this and the other, but come and beg me to be with me because that's what you want, right? But you don't want nobody else to know that either. When you want to mistreat me in the midst and then put it on me like I'm just such a mean female, and that's why you do what you do. You do what you do because you're grimy. It had nothing to do with me. And so
why was it important what people, or not why was it important what people thought of you, but why was it an important factor for you to have him to see, or have other people to see how he really was? Was that something that affected you, like for people to not see what you see in him? Because it seems like people saw something different when it came to what you saw. So you wanted to get on tape, like, this is who he is, that, or this is a part that you guys don't see.
Well, it wasn't so much as for other people, you know, it wasn't so much, and if somebody else would have seen it, then it is what it is. But it really was for him, because we are married. Well, you know, we're going to get married, but I want you. So later on down the line, when you feel like, oh, I didn't want you anyway, or this and that and the other, when we have our arguments, or we not getting it, or we not, you know, getting along, let me remind you.
Oh, so you was going to pull out the tape every time?
Yes, every single time. Let me remind you.
To camera now.
Let me remind you who got on their knee to ask me to marry them. So, and even on the camera, I still didn't tell him yes. I said, I'll think about it. You know, because you need to be, you know, and yes, that was my intentions. Later on down the line, I am going to show you this, just in case you decide to be like, oh, we was here and you didn't, you know?
Why did you think that you ultimately said, yeah, I'll do it? Why do you think that?
Because he is in his own way, he really is a good dad. You know, I wouldn't take that from him. You know, I know we have our differences, and I know lies are being brought about with you know, some people. It's always two sides of the story on one truth. You know, my truth is I was a good ass parent. I've never discredited that one. You know, I feel like as a mother and a single mother, I've always been discredited. It always makes it seem like I have to be perfect, or if something goes on, or if life be life, and then what were you doing? And this, and it's like I always have to check a box and make sure that the check is crisp. You know, we cannot make mistakes, and and you get condemned for it. And so I don't feel like, you know, female or any parent, because I see males getting condemned too. And I feel like I've carried most of the weight, to be honest.
When you had your wedding, what was your thoughts on your wedding day? Were you excited? Were you happy? Was this just something else to do?
Something else to do. Something else to do. And it's crazy because when I say it like that, it makes it seem like I'm cold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoyed myself, but again, I wasn't in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hate him or anything. I mean, we were literally arguing the night before our wedding. He didn't think I was going to show up because I told him I'm not coming. And when he believed that, he really was like frantic, like, is she here? Is she here? You know? So.
You later have 2 other children, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the thing that made you, because I know I'm fast forwarding, so let people know how many children you have in total by him.
3.
And you have 2 girls and 1 boy, correct?
And 1 boy. Mm-hmm.
What's their ages now?
22, 18, and 14.
I wish y'all could see her body on camera. Okay? 22-year-old girl. But what was the thing that, because we are located in Columbia, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So at some point you left, right?
Right.
What was that thing that made you stay? Because I mean, this is somebody that you've been catching cheating left and right. So was it just cheating, or was it something else that you said, I got to get the hell on through?
A man that actually I fell in love with for the first time. And talk about being trifling. It was actually his ex-best friend.
Oh, I got a sip. Ooh, I ain't got that much. I should have gave a full glass.
Yeah. So the way when I was going through my divorce, you know, some stuff happened, and you know, concerning my children and his family. His best friend stepped in he was off doing his thing, cheating, acting like he was gone, whatever. So he stepped in. In the midst of stepping in, we clicked.
Okay. And when you say stepping in, is he helping with the kids? Is he helping you? Is he talking to you?
Helping me to just working through the situation, trying to, get some things without telling somebody else's business, my child's business. I'll just say that he helped me with a really bad situation.
Okay.
That person's father should have been there for.
Okay.
And that led me down to the path of, I don't even want to be with you no more, for real. You know what I mean? Because if you're doing your family like this, like, it's one thing to cheat, but it's another thing to just be real grimy and not, key in on some things. So yeah, I didn't want to be.
So you feel like he wasn't there supporting you and the family?
Yeah. I feel like I handled that a lot of the situation by myself. Yeah. So no, I don't play when people come to just certain things. My kids, no. So yeah.
How did you let him know that? I mean, y'all were already. Oh, okay. Because I mean, you had to move. You had to pack up and move.
Well, when he came to me, right? And mind you, he's cheating, and he don't know I know he's cheating with a female that just started his job. I knew what she looked like and everything. I seen y'all eating, talking, but you didn't know I know that. I just had my daughter, my youngest. I just had her. So I'm not tripping off of you. I knew you was cheating on me. It's whatever. We were already going to marriage counseling in church and all of that. Still didn't work because you want to do what you want to do. So reeling it in, I'm just like, I don't really care what you got going on. Like, I'm gonna take care of my kids and have my daughter. And when he came to me and said, well, I feel like we should get a separation, I told him, I said, well, when I left you I was pregnant with our son and I came back, I told you if I ever had to leave you again, that I'm gone for good. He thought I was playing and he started laughing in the garage. Mind you, he didn't know that I knew that he was cheating on me, And so he was laughing. I said, well, I can show you, man. I can tell you. And by the time, he want to come back home and do all the things, I left and I had moved. But in the midst of that stuff had happened, and his best friend was there, So that's why I moved to South Carolina, because I fell in love with him in the process. And that's how I wound up in South Carolina. But his family, my ex's family, actually lives there. Like Terrence's family, my kid's family lives there on her dad's side. So I knew people there, but that's how that came about.
Mm-hmm. Does he know to this day that you were not in love? Like, how you arguing with somebody and something just comes, you like, oh, I just got to say this. Does he ever know to this day that what we had was not love? Or do you think that he thinks that you were like head over heels for him?
Oh no, I know he don't. I hope he don't think I was head over heels, because I never even acted like it. But I was a respectful woman, but no, I don't think.
So even through all of that, you were still loyal and respectful towards him.
Oh yeah, I didn't cheat on him at all. Like, that's the crazy. I'm not a cheater, and I'm just not a cheater. Mm-hmm. And I've been celibate for years to this day, so I don't need somebody touching my thing. I'm not like that. So yeah, it was really nothing. I just didn't want. The trauma of the childhood made me decide to cut off some certain feelings, which I'm good at it, and a lot of people can't do that. I think I'm a little too good at it. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So when you moved to Columbia, the ex-best friend of your husband is here, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys start talking? I mean, because it's a sticky situation, because he was best friends with your husband, right? But did that end their relationship like immediately?
It did.
Or
okay, so it didn't happen immediately. We actually, man, he didn't want to tell when he wanted to be with me, and he was like, you know what, just stay, because we didn't do anything. We weren't doing anything, but he knew that he wanted me to stay and that he fell for me. And I was falling for him, but we knew it wasn't right. We knew that, like, damn, like, that's your boy. Because I didn't care.
Right.
I don't owe you nothing, bro. And so that's just to be honest. And you can say, my dog, you a hoe. Nah, I'm not. I'm not. You know what I mean? Because after so many years of being with you and only you, I decide to be with someone else. That someone else just happened to be your best friend. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Mm-hmm. The loyalty literally was within you and him.
And because you had not been talking to any outside, it's not like you had like a standby. You get what I'm saying? Right. So this guy just came in and he was already familiar, and I'm pretty sure that it was a little bit easier because you were not looking, you know. And so mm-hmm. I don't think that you try to intentionally do it. I think it probably just happened.
Yeah, it just happened, and I liked it, and I went with it because I was falling in love. Somebody was making me feel good for the first time. Like, somebody was actually paying attention, you know, and not so much as giving me what I want, but just having real, the vibe was just real. Like, I didn't have to prove that I was this person. I didn't have to prove that I was smart or I'm being judged. And to be honest, that's what a lot of my ex relationship was about. Like, you want me to prove that I'm this person when I don't have to prove to you anything, you know? Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. so with that individual for the first 3 years, it was wonderful. I was able to be myself, able to come out of my shell, not only mentally, physically, emotionally, but sexually as well. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do that. And that person, that's how I fell in love with that person, because they made me fall in love with me, mm-hmm. you know? So, mm-hmm. and when you make somebody fall in love with them and then, yeah, of course, you know, so that's what that was.
So what went wrong, do you think?
He was a narcissist. So he started doing, from my understanding, started doing drugs. Mm. I was unaware of it, even though I smelled the burning smell, and I'm kind of familiar with it because of my past.
Like, I gotta ask you, what kind of drugs? Typically.
I think it was crack, like the pipe stuff, though, like mm-hmm. coke or whatever. I don't know how, you know. So, but you can smell like that burning mm-hmm. from the pipe, and I remember smelling that as I was a kid, you know. Yeah. But I didn't really put it together because, again, I'm in love with this person. Mm-hmm. So, he's just started making up stories in his head, being abusive physically, mentally, and emotionally. And then, you know, all of that stuff just had to get restraining orders.
Oh, you said physically?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember, like, the first time that he got physical? What were your thoughts? Because this is somebody that you said you, for the first time, actually fell in love with. And I mm-hmm. didn't hear you say that your husband was ever physical with you.
No. Mm-mm.
First time you actually fall in love, somebody, they get physical.
My ex-husband was physical with me one time. And when he got 19 staples put in his head.
By you?
Yes.
Okay. So with this time, when the first time he got physical, what was it, an argument? Was it what happened?
My ex-husband or the guy?
No, the guy. This guy.
Well, the first time it got physical is because his brother had just got out of jail, and we all hanging out, and he was trying to be Brody. So it was just like, what, you know, he was just off with some weird stuff. We were trying to go to the club, and he was like trying to check me, like, just come over here, like, just be a whole different person. I'm like, hold up, like you know. So I'm like, So when he kind of grabbed me, I kind of went out of my heel. Like you checking me like I'm a child. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of tossed my heel like, dude, what are you doing? And then when he threw it back at me, that was all she wrote. Didn't say that. But yeah.
A physical altercation between both of you all, right?
No, it wasn't physical. He had hit, you know, threw the shoe at me. Okay. But when I threw it back, you know, I popped him good, yeah. But and that's the first altercation. Okay. And I'm like, I'm still stunned, like, what the heck happened? You know, like, right. What did you tripping off of?
It wasn't a conversation.
No.
And what I was just about to ask that, because a lot of times I don't hear like the resolution. I hear the conflict, but then I don't hear the resolution.
No,
so
because
do you just go about the next couple of days and weeks as if it's
so when you try to talk to somebody, and like especially with a narcissist, it's everything that you say, they're flipping it. They're flipping, so you get frustrated, and then it's to the point where it's like they're gonna make up their own story anyway, you know. Mm-hmm. So, you know, there was no reason why we were fighting or he did what he did. You know, maybe a reason in his head, but when you look for a reason with a narcissist, you don't. It's weird because you don't get the reason because it's all over the place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you fast forward to smelling that smell. How did you come to terms with knowing, okay, this is drugs?
I didn't come to terms with it until actually I was out of the relationship.
Oh, okay. So you didn't even find out while you were in it, you didn't even find out.
I found out, but I was so not putting two and two together. Mm-hmm. The love factor, like I said, the love factor is what had like, what is going on? He's losing weight. I feed him all day long, you know, so it's just like, what you laugh about that? I'm just like,
oh Lordy. I mean, in my head, I'm just like, he was like, you know, in the South, well, you know, we think of a crackhead, you know, that is what we're thinking.
But that's what my cousin, it's crazy because my cousin was like, I see him and he looked like he on drugs. So
yeah, and so, you know, growing up, I had friends whose parents were addicted, and they would be like, yeah, he got a crackish look, like crackish, you know. And so we were we could scope out that crackish looking people. But I think because, like you said, you were blinded by your experience.
Yeah, I started seeing it. I started seeing that he was losing weight and stuff. But again, I wasn't putting it together like he looked like a crackhead. And then when he started, you know, upsetting me and started hurting me, and I started wanting to be away from him and protect my kids and my peace, then I started seeing the person that he was and look at him for who he was. I'm like, ew, like, because everybody would tell me, like, you're with him? Like, you look old. Like, you look so young, or you look like, what? How did he snag you? Like, I'm serious. I get those.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's just like, I don't know, you know.
He didn't look like this when I met him.
Yeah, he didn't look like this. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
But you all didn't live together, right?
We didn't live together at first, but I bought a house and then he wound up living with me, yes.
Okay. So did you have, because you said you had a restraining order, so did you have to move or did you just kick him out and say that he was
had to, it was such a strenuous situation. I had to go to the magistrate office to get all of that. I had to, and because I didn't have a repeat support, I had to wait for him to put his hands on me again, to call the police, to show the marks, to get a police report, then go to the magistrate office to file the restraining order in order to get the eviction. So it was a lot.
A lot.
2 years, 2.5 years. So when people say things about why don't you just leave him or this, and I'm saying this for men and women, it is extremely hard to get out of a situation, abusive situation with someone, not only because you love that person, but the law protects them more than they protect you. And so you're left with your own defenses is to fight. And you know I have hands, so I'm not getting ready to sit here and fight no grown man. I'm gonna try to.
It only protects you when you're dead. That's why they tell you don't call until a crime has been committed. Well, my death will be the crime, bitch.
Will be the crime. Okay.
So that's crazy, and that's unfortunate that had to happen. What lesson? Because everything that happens in everybody's life, I always say, you know, we don't fail at anything. We don't lose. We take no losses. In the relationship with your husband and in this particular relationship, what did you learn about yourself in both of those?
Man, well, I've learned in both situations that I'm attracted to people that have wounds and that, you know, because I'm an introvert. So I'm attracted to wanting to fix what people, you know, a need for them, whether they realize it or not. I can feel it. Mm-hmm. So my ex-husband, he might have not ever said that he needed anything or he wanted me to fix something, but I felt that off of him, which was why I was probably drawn to him as an individual. Now, as far as the second guy that I was with, I fell in love with him because we vibed out. And like I said, he showed me some things that I love about myself. When someone shows you that, you can't help but to love that person, because it's like, dang, I'm comfortable around that person. I love this about me. I'm feeling good. That's how I fell in love with him. And then the trauma started. It was so detrimental to me with him because I was in love with him. And I went through that pain by myself. I talked to your sister a few times, you know, because she's, you know, has her story. And we have a lot in common. And so when our boys were hanging out, we then started hanging out. And then I found out that she was working out, and I was on my workout journey looking for a trainer. And then I seen her ass come out the car with abs, and I'm like, I want those.
And I was just about to touch on that. But I do want to piggyback off of something that you said. For somebody that's listening, you know, I feel like people connect themselves to people, and it's supposed to be like envision yourself like, let me give in 5th grade, right? So when you're in 5th grade, you might not get it. So your mom may keep you back a grade, right?
Right.
And when she keeps you back, you get it. But you love 5th grade so much that you want to stay in 5th grade, right? So stay in 5th grade. And okay, but you're getting older though, right? And but you staying in 5th grade, you love it so much. So the next year you stay in 5th grade. And what are you gonna end up doing as you keep staying in 5th grade? What are you gonna end up? So I want to welcome y'all. If this is y'all first time partying with me, my name is Katrina Moten, and I'll be y'all bedroom candy consultant. Here at Bedroom Candy, our mission is to motivate, educate, and empower both women and men on self-care, healing, and sexual health. When you book a BK party, not only do you sign up for a great time, but you also get to experience our award-winning products and learn how to take care of the outside and the inside of your bodies. At these parties, you learn more about your guests and yourself. It's a judge-free zone where you are finally able to let your hair down for the night. Don't just look. Book now. Like I was saying, when you are in 5th grade and you decide to stay there, you're going to start noticing that the environment is not like the environment when you first got there and you used to love it. You're outgrowing it, right? You're going to start looking weird in that, because you, at this point, you're 16, but you're still in 5th grade with a bunch of, 10, 11, 12-year-olds or however old you are in the 5th grade. So you're going to start feeling weird. And to me, that's how I look at a lot of connections that are not supposed to last, right? 5th grade, you're supposed to learn the lesson for that age, and then you're supposed to move on. Even if you do stay back, you know, at some point you're supposed to move on, you know. And so when you stay in connections longer, you're going to feel, because sometimes you have to voluntarily move on, and sometimes you have to be forced to move on. I always look at things, when you start feeling awkward, when you start feeling out of place, and that's with anything, not even just a relationship. They could be a job, they could be in a friendship, they can be whatever. But when you start to feel like, okay, this is, you know, and so I just felt like that was real interesting, because even though you had this feeling of like, oh, love, I think that it probably was for you to see what it felt like, and for you to actually see yourself. And I think he might have been the one to do it for you, but you know, it was a lesson, and that was time to move on. So I was going to ask you, because you are into health, you know, fitness and health and nutrition and, you know, training others. What what do you think made you, because I mean people work out all the time, and of course for the body, but what not only made you wanted to start, what motivated you to stay in it? Because everybody doesn't stay consistent with it.
Because I'm good at it. I mean, that's just it's my thing, you know, it's just who I am. I can channel, you know, me and all my energy into one place and be good at it. A lot of people can't do that. And so, you know, that's what drives me. You know, I know that I can hold my own. I don't need to, like, I'm not cocky with it, you know, but it is my professional, and it's something that, you know, I can say that I can get out there with some of the good people and grind it out. So, I mean, I'm just good at it. And so, yeah, that's why.
When did you notice, like, this might be my thing right here? Like, this is my right here.
I've always been athletic, so I've always been a dominant athletic female. I've always been one of the top females, you know, of any sport. So I've never, it wasn't something that I'd be like, oh, I got it. It was, I'm bringing it. That I'm not going to say, oh, I got it. No, I'm bringing it. And so you either going to receive it or you going to just, and so I had a different mindset. You can teach the player the game, but you can't teach them how to have heart. So you can have it, but can you bring it? Exactly. That's the problem. And so my mindset and the way I think inside my dragon, she thinks different. You know, she don't think the same. She calm down on, do this. Like, my inner person, my inner dragon do talk to me, you know. So like, I sound crazy, but that's what pushes me. I don't need someone to motivate me. That's why someone says, well, how do you do it? Because my inner dragon is in there talking to me. When I give up this physical, my inner dragon is telling me, no, bruh, like, what are you doing? So that's why, you know, and a lot of people they don't listen to their inner dragon. They don't listen to themselves. Myself. That's why I can keep going.
And I do want to touch on motherhood for you, because you are the type of person that values, you know, your children. And because listen, it's a lot of women that have kids, but then it's a different thing to be a mother, right? And I know they use that terminology when it comes to men, like, you know, everybody can be a dad, but same with mothers. You can push out a baby, that don't make you a mother. You know, it's a lot of women that has pushed out kids and are not mothers. So when it comes to you raising your 3 children, how you were raised, what did you say, I'm going to do differently with mine?
Everything. I did everything different. Every single thing. My parents taught me what not to do. And so I can't, you know, and then they taught me what to do, you know, because there are some times where I don't even feel like maybe my parenting style was the best style, because now, you know, you got a lot of these kids they really, really, really feel like it's something that they're supposed to have, or they, you know, like they feel real entitled, you know, and they don't want the grind. They don't want to have to grind. And I don't blame them, because I don't want to still have to grind, you know, but it's a difference as far as being a parent and, you know, as your kids get older and knowing that they have their little selfish ways too, you know. And so you like, did I do it right? Did I do a good job? Like, I had done some of the stuff that my parents did, you know. Should I have busted your ass a little more? You know, like that's I mean, really, because it's like, you know, was their way so bad? Is my way so bad? There's no handbook. So I mean, people say the handbook is the Bible.
It's no blueprint, because even if somebody gave you a blueprint, that's for their journey,
for their kid, for their child,
not for you. Yeah. So now we're about to get into a little pillow talk, and I don't have any more drink, but in terms of pillow talk, we want to talk about, you know, your sexual and those intimate relationships that you did have with people. But I want to back it all the way up. Who taught you about sex? Like, who sat you down and had the talk with you? Was it school?
No. No one really had a talk with me about sex. I never really cared about focusing on sex, you know, so I never really, I mean, I guess I always knew about sex. I just never really paid attention to it. And I mean, I think just within years of being around my peers, because most of my peers were already having sex. So I learned through conversation with them, you know, what they thought would be feeling good. But in reality, I didn't learn about sex and learn about myself until I got grown. You know? So you just don't know. You think that you know, you think you putting it down, you think you doing this. You ain't doing none of that. You want to get all dressed up in lingerie and stuff. Don't know.
And you know, not even sex, but since you were raised in a 2-parent household, who sat down and talked to you about love?
No one.
And no one. You were raised with mom and dad. Did you see them be intimate and hugging and being affectionate? And
no. My mom, the demeanor that I have is that the standoffish is what I thought was what I thought a woman would, you know, do, because my mom is not a huggy type woman either, you know. So I thought that that's, you know, how I was supposed to be. Like, I don't want you touching me, you know, because that's how my mom is. And I felt like that was the way. But then as I'm learning myself, I do realize that I don't like people touching me, because I'm an energy magnet. So whatever energy you have, that's the energy that's going to come on to me. And that's why I'm so particular about the people that I am intimate with, because again, while you haven't slept with 15 other people, all those people's energy and everything is coming into me. And I know what I don't have. So, you know, so yeah, so I'm very, very, very picky when it comes to that.
So not seeing them be affectionate and loving, how were you able to go out into the world and identify what it looked like?
My family members, my other members that I had, you know, family is really close. So that's not, you know, my parents weren't just my whole life and my whole childhood story, a big part of it. But again, I had, you know, my aunts, you know, would cook for us and, you know, treat us like any other nieces and nephews. You know, the only difference is they weren't in our household, so they couldn't do everything or know everything, you know.
And that's true, because I remember being young and seeing like one family member, you know how you, like you said, aunts and uncles, they would interact this way and then go over here, and they would barely talk to each other, then go over here and they kissing all on each other. But then when you go home and you see something different, you know, your mind wonders, you know, well, what the hell is normal? You know, which one is, you know, the one growing up, seeing different aspects. Which one do you feel like you gravitated to, or which one did you feel like, okay, well, this is the standard?
I actually gravitated towards my aunt. Like I've you know, my aunt Tina, and of course my other aunts, you know, had the family oriented type thing, but it was just something about how she would always be cooking and, you know, just running around for everybody and cleaning and anything that anybody wanted, she got done. Like, people can rely on her. And I was like, to be one of those people, not understanding what it actually all entails. You know, you're one of those people everybody relies on. And still to this day, she's still that person that everybody relies on. And so I wanted to be that, because I love that about her. But now that that's my favorite aunt, it's like, I want that taken away from her. Like, that's such a burden, you know, and it drains you. It sucks the life out of you. But because I just drive. It's like, now I have to start thinking smarter and work, you know, not work harder. So
I noticed that way back, you said that the second guy we talked about, the love, you know, that you had for him, and how he kind of opened you up sexually to understand, you know, more about yourself. you had 3 kids by your husband, but sexually, I know you said that it was not like a deep love. Sexually, do you feel like there was an attraction?
No.
So I was going to ask you that because, you know, it is so surprising. I remember reading this years ago, and a lady was married. People did not believe when she said sex was almost like a chore. And she had been married for years. And I remember Jay-Z came out about his mom and how he said he almost was in tears or something when his mom was telling him about, you know, but she ended up being, I guess, a lesbian later on in life. And that was her true, authentic self, but how she had to basically be with, you know, his father and how to make her feel. But I remember reading this and the story on this lady, and she was married for years, and she was just like, she never knew what an orgasm was, because she was doing it to fulfill him. This is what he wants, you know, I'm gonna do this, you know, I'm a wife, you know, it's almost like I'm doing laundry, you know. And so she never knew any of that, of when people were talking about, and she said people used to talk about sex as if it was just like this great thing, and to me it was like, that's so overrated, because she never experienced the actual intimacy part. She was like, just an act. So with you saying that there was a disconnect of emotion, there was no real physical thing, it wasn't like a lust thing, like how was that for you when it's time to be intimate and it's still like no attraction there?
I just do it. It was just something to do. And and it sounds so harsh when you say it. And it's not like I love him as a person, because I'm not anybody in me, but it was like, there's not no deep connection like that to where I'm gonna, you know, be head over, like just devastated if you leave me, you know. And yeah, we went through our spit spat, but I think it lasted as long as it did because we did have kids, you know, because, you know, and then it's not that, you know, again, he did his thing, I did mine. And I'm not saying as far as like cheating, because I'm not a cheater, but I am saying like the emotional thing, like I could have probably been better at that. But again, how you want somebody to be emotional with you if you're always cheating on them? So I closed myself off to him because I felt like you want something else. So it's not me that you want, because if it was, then you would focus on me. You know, I felt like what he wanted something else, like big booty. He would always go after the girls with the big booty and stuff like that. And no, it didn't make me feel I thought I felt some type of way about myself, but in reality, I love myself. That second person showed me that. They showed me that there's nothing wrong with you. Like you know, and even though I didn't think that there was something wrong with me, in the back of my head, I'm like, my own husband at the time, don't even want my physical physique. And I didn't have his with him. I would never have fucking fat booty back there. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So I know my physique. No matter how much I work out, I'll have a little bump, but it ain't gonna be a fatty. You know, and to come to grips with knowing,
fatty, y'all.
But you know what I'm saying? But knowing that,
like overly,
you would never come to grips with what he likes. That's just like a man being gay. A woman cannot compare to that. He don't want that. You know, so coming to know that about yourself, that you married somebody and he's not even really physically attracted to you like that. He's physically attracted to other people. That's how I felt. Was he physically attracted to me? Yeah. But did he show that? No. Did I feel that I felt like you're not attracted to me. So I didn't open up. I didn't feel comfortable. It's something you don't like. I like it, but you don't. So I can't share it fully with you. Versus my ex, you know, that I fell in love with, lights where the first time I've ever had sex was with lights on, was with him. I never did. I cut the lights off, and it was like, because you with so many other females. What you? Is it something that I don't? Is something about me you don't like? You know? So, you know, when I did, and it didn't make me self-conscious at all. Like I still like my body, but I knew that when a female walked by, the first thing he gonna do is look at her ass. And yeah, most men do that, but also there's men that are titty men. You know, there's men that do it, but you know, he was just doing it extrally, like, you know. And I
knew it's some men that don't do it, you know, because people make general statements like that, like, you know, well, most men cheat. Is some that don't, you know, and so I definitely get what you're saying, and now when you're saying that, it makes even more sense of why it probably was even more easier for you to leave, because if all of those things were not there on top of all of his behavior, then it's like, you know, why stay? Because I was looking for that one thing, but it wasn't just a one thing with you, it was several things.
Yeah, several factors. And then the factor of you elevating in your life and you thinking that I'm stupid and that, you know, you're leaving me behind and I'm not there, when in reality people have roles, you know, people have roles in relationships. And I feel like he felt like he was overly fulfilling his when he really wasn't. And just because you have a job don't mean that you're fulfilling any type of roles. And I believe that there was just empty spaces that we weren't just clicking. I like to communicate. I don't like to be, don't tell me what to do. You communicate with me. Because one thing, do this, do that, you're not pointing your finger at me. You can ask me, or we can agree to disagree. But I felt like the communication was just off.
Right.
Yeah.
And people have to know how to communicate, like you said, because if I want to share my thoughts, or if you want to share your thoughts and you got something that you want to say, you need to be able to say it. And then, you know, everything is not an argument, you know, even if we don't agree, everything is not an argument. So I do want to hit you with the game. I got an easy one for you today, though. I ain't make it too hard. So it's called this or that. And I play it all kind of ways, but basically you'll tell me if you want this, which is the first thing that I say, or you want that, which is the second thing. Okay. So Netflix or Peacock?
Netflix.
Okay. The gym or at home workout?
The gym.
I knew that already. Heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
I knew that one too. Out with friends or just chilling at home with some friends?
With friends.
Out, like going out, or just staying at home and having them come over?
Staying at home with them.
Flowers or money?
Money.
Sex or cuddling?
Cuddling.
Okay. Why cuddling?
Because it's a vibe. If I'm cuddling with you, I'm learning your soul.
She got deep with it, y'all. Got one more thing that I want you to do before I let you go. Name one word that best describes you. Like if you didn't have time to say a sentence and somebody needed one word that describes who you are.
Goddess.
And I'm gonna just leave it. We're gonna put it on the flow. Jessica, I want to thank you so much for being so open, so honest, like to the T. Oh my gosh, she dropped names and everything. But we really appreciate it. I know I appreciate you being a part of this. It was a thought that just manifested. So I definitely appreciate your time, your voice. I feel like it needs to be heard. I feel like your journey, even though I only tapped the surface of it, I feel like it's immaculate and it needs to be shared. I hope this video not only motivates but resonates with somebody. Because like I said, you got a lot of hats on top of being a mother that you know, pursue and that you do daily. And you're just a dope person, period.
And I still got a smile on my face, and people don't know, but I want to throw it out there that you can still have a smile on your face and go through something. I just recently got laid off, got into a car accident. My car's fine. I'm fine. You know, getting evicted out of not getting evicted, but can't afford my place because I don't have a job. So I'm putting it out there that people still can make it and they still can feel free and you can still just thrive. Yes, I've been crying, and yes, because of the frustration, but I do know what I'm asking for in my life. Everything else has to cease and assist because it's going to stop me from getting where I need to be. So even though I was laid off, it doesn't line up with what I have and what I want for myself and what I've been speaking and manifesting. So anytime that anybody feels like they're going through something back to back, yeah, that's how it happens, because you plant those seeds and now they're starting to erupt and starting to shake that ground and starting to get, you're starting to get the fruits of your labor. But just wait. And even though people feel frustrated or you don't feel like you're getting help and you feel alone, you might be, but just know that it's season time, your harvest, you shaking up the ground, you plowing that stuff up, you getting your rewards back, and it will come. And that's because no one would know that technically or word like I'm supposed to be at the lowest point in my life right now, the lowest, but it's not stopping me because I know that there's other people's journey that they're even lower. And I know that me being right here is because it have to be a testimony for someone else that needs help. I went through all of that with those narcissists because, to backtrack, my brother was going through a relationship with a horrible narcissist that happened to be a woman. He was married, and so when you have good people,
and you were able to see it,
I was able to talk. When he opened up to me, I was able to split out and let him know and tell him out of love and out of discernment and just the truth, and that he's okay. He went through his battle and he's okay, and he was just on the phone with me, pushing me through mine. Right. So I just want to say that even though my past was rocky, I'm still going through rocky. But that's because when I call myself a goddess, it's because because I've been going through goddess type stuff. And now I'm going to reap my harvest. You're going to see my shine. And I want people to understand that it didn't just come from nowhere. When I have that confidence, it didn't just come from nowhere. When I tell you that I don't have time for games, it didn't just come from nowhere. I'm not acting like I'm up here and everybody's down here. It's because I elevated myself to be down here. So if you feel that you're down here, I suggest you go ahead and get up on that level, because I know that I'm here, and that's why I call myself a goddess. It has nothing to do with discrediting anybody else. Just that's how myself, because I know
it's so many other women and men that also hear those things that we hear. Why are you mad? And they have similar stories to what we have. And it's actually making them even more pissed that people are trying to label them as like just mad people or angry people, or, you ain't outgoing. You ain't got an outgoing person, and I might not, but it does not make me, because we don't, we're not like the people that walk in the room and are trying to shake it, but it doesn't make me any less than that person that does that. It doesn't make me any worse,
right,
than the person that does that. Because like you said, a person can do that and be a horrible person to somebody. They can be a narcissist. They can be a abuser. You know how many stories I've heard on Lifetime, and the men who actually have killed, they're like, oh, like killed murderers. Like what they say about Jeffrey Dahmer was just so nice and sweet. So to me, what you project is important.
Yeah.
But that's not what's in here to me. What you project to other people, it is important,
Absolutely.
But what's in here is even more important to me. I never question a woman when she says what she's going through. That's why I say this is your truth.
Oh, yeah.
You dealt with it every day, And so like people on the outside probably wouldn't even know that was your authentic experience. Like, damn, she was with him and he was doing all of that. People wouldn't know. They only know what they see.
Only what they see.
So, and I definitely, I'm telling you, I am so appreciative that you took the time to do this, because it's going to be heard. It's definitely going to be heard. People need to hear it. And like you said, your journey is not for no reason. It's for a reason. Even if I always tell you, even if one person looks at this,
right,
and it's like, dang, and it maybe be in the same situation that you were in.
Yeah.
And it motivates them on another level, then to me, we've done the job.
I know that, when you go through trials and tribulations, they do come back to back, back to back, back to back. And that's for a lot of people. So, and I know somebody else is doing, going back to back, back to back, or even a child that feeling the same way I felt when I was little. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and when you get older, you're in control over your own destiny. So even if you did go through those things, seek help. It's okay to get help, and a lot of people, especially Black people, I'm just gonna be honest, they don't seek help. We frown upon going and talking to somebody, or, you know, you want to talk to a friend that's going to agree with everything you say. No, why don't you get that friend that's going to tell you, no, you're wrong.
Right.
You know, those are the type of people that I have in my corner. And obviously you're one of them, so you know. So it's just like, I want my friends to tell me, no, just you're wrong. Like, or no, you can do this a different way. And if I don't have people in my corner like that, they can tell me when I'm wrong and when I can do something better, then I don't stick around, because then you just going with the flow and you're not trying to elevate me.
But I do notice that when people go through certain journeys, they look for a temporary relief. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was little, not knowing what was going, it was so much chaos around me growing up and conflict. And I remember like not knowing what to do. And mm-hmm. So I would read and I would go into these stores and I would be able to escape. I'm like, whoa, you know, I'm in the story. Mm-hmm. And then I would write my own stories, write my own life. Mm-hmm. And I would be whatever. I remember my kindergarten or first grade teacher telling my mom, she got a story to this day that I wrote, because I remember this is going to be my escape, not a cigarette, mm-hmm. not alcohol, not sex, not this is going to be. So every time I need to get away, and I mm-hmm. still do that as an adult. And mm-hmm. what people don't understand is journaling, reading, self-reflection, inner work is better than any negative coping mechanism mm-hmm. that you can have. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to build you. Yeah. That's what made me be able to type a 4-page paper in an hour, because mm-hmm. I was already doing it. That mm-hmm. what helped me get a bachelor's degree with no computer. I mm-hmm. went to college and I didn't have shit. I had work to get clothes and food, but I made it 4 years without a computer, sit my ass in that computer lab and just, type right. and wait and be resilient. But, that being able to say, you know what, I'm going to immerse myself in mm-hmm. this reading. Right. Like, everybody has a road, but you got to cope with it. Like mm-hmm. how you do positive things. Everybody's mm-hmm. not doing positive things. That's why we're pouring into somebody that's watching this. Once you do positive things, that's why it's not hurting you. Like, even if it's not hurting you because your outlets are positive. You're going right. to get through it easier. But if you find a substance and you're looking for that temporary relief, when you mm-hmm. come down, it's going to be hard. They're going to be hitting you harder, right? It's almost like they waiting on you.
Yep.
See, reading was an escape for me, but I still was in it. See, I wasn't trying to leave. I was still in it.
Yeah.
But smoking and drinking and pills and all of the other stuff, you trying to avoid.
You trying to not even deal with. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I love the fact that, like, you standing on business. This is temporary. I remember like being in high school saying that. So if somebody out there need to say that mantra, this is temporary. I used to say that, and girls used to be laughing. What you mean? I didn't know why, but I said that because it was temporary. This was not my reality. This was right. temporary. Like me being broke, this is temporary. Right. Me not having stability, this is temporary. And I would tell myself that all the time, didn't even know what I was saying. Yep. Not manifesting that every time something happens, this is temporary.
Temporary. There you go. And it's crazy because it's so profound that everything, like I said, I'm such a good person that the stuff that's happening to me, I know it's purposely being done because I asked for. I'm like, my life, I want to buy me an RV. You mark my words, I'm going to buy me an RV. I'm going to be having a job to work from home because I don't like people. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I don't. And so my meter runs real low. And so when, I have to deal with people every day, that's draining to me. I want to be able to live my life, go when I want to go, and just travel and then make money doing it. It's not like I'm lazy, but I don't want to be confined. I feel like I've been confined for so long that when you see a bald eagle by themselves, you're okay with that because it's supposed to be, right? But what about humans? Like, some humans want to be by themselves, and I'm okay with that, so it's just the things that happen in my life is due to other people. That's why I want to be left alone, because I wouldn't be able to do half of this stuff if it wasn't for others,
I think you want to take your control back. You want to take your power back. You want to take your peace back. You want to take your clarity back so you can see. It feels like your vision been blurry for a long time and you want to be able to actually see clear and use your voice. So I definitely want to thank you again for using your voice today, saying what you say. And you already know I wish you the best on everything. Let them know where they can find you. Like, you need to be the one that's doing these TikToks and all of this stuff. Let people know if they want to reach out to you and message you and connect with you, where can they find you? What are some of your handlers?
Well, the only handler that I have right now is TikTok, because I did turn off my Instagram and my Facebook due to me being stalked. So and that was a real thing. Yeah. So, but I'm my only TikTok account right now, and it's under Lavon. And I don't have much content on it because, again, I cut off all my other stuff, so it doesn't have as much content as my other stuff. But,
yeah, man, it was cranking at one time. Oh, yeah, man.
And I still have my videos, and I still have my workout videos that I can post. So if anybody has any questions, about how to do this, or or is interested in what I do and how I do it, then they can go on there and be like, hey, you got any more videos? But as far as just posting right now, I'm just now getting to the point where I'm physically back in the gym constantly.
Right. Okay, well, we will put those handlers down below. And do you have a Gmail that they did want to touch base with you, like on a professional level, like email? Okay, so we'll put that below as well.
14@gmail.com.
All right, man. Well, signing off. Listen, this is the day after Christmas we shot this, so I know that y'all may see it late. Hopefully, I can get it out before the New Year holiday. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Jessica, and everybody that's watching. We going to 2024 with a bang, y'all. That black girl magic got that black girl magic.